What's going on, everybody? Thrive Athletics is back. Today, we're going to be talking about how to do a box jump effectively in a CrossFit workout. To do a box jump effectively, you want to make sure you're using your posterior chain, your backside chain, your hips to drive yourself up on top of the box. The typical way that most CrossFitters do a box jump is they kind of do what I call a high knee box jump, where they just bring their knees as high as they can just to get their feet onto the box. When you do a box jump like this, you're really only using your calves and your anterior chain, your quads to kind of just get your knees as high as you can. Oftentimes when people look at a movement, they just see, okay, bare bones, the movement is get your feet on top of the box and stand tall. But there's a little bit more nuance to it, and using the proper musculature to make it a little more efficient doesn't always come out in just a demonstration without explanation. When you do a high knee box jump, you land into a squat, and you have to squat up all the way, because for a standard in CrossFit, a box jump, you need to be fully extended at the top. So it just wastes a lot more energy. It's not as efficient. You're really not generating the power needed to get onto the box, and you'll find that your box jump height will be affected. The proper way to do a box jump is kind of load it like you're doing a kettlebell swing, but the position is where the kettlebell is going through your legs. So in this position, you start nice and tall, okay? You sit back, throw your arms back. You go into kind of like the top of a deadlift position, or like a little bit of a deadlift position, where you're loading your hips by feeling a stretch in your hamstrings. There's a soft bend in the knees, and the weight's in your midfoot. And this is the best way to produce power. Now, you're only in this position for a split second because you want to get out of it as quickly as possible. You don't want to hold this position. That's called a non-counter movement jump, and requires a lot of energy to get out of. It takes more effort to get out of it because you kind of lose the stretch at your hamstrings to spring out and generate power to get onto the box. You get into this position, kind of the bottom of the kettlebell swing position, as fast as possible. Throw your arms up, extend your ankles, knees, and hips, and you should be able to generate enough power if you time it correctly to land on the box fully extended. Now, I wanna emphasize throwing the arms up. Not many people use their arms in a box jump, but they can be very effective at helping someone, get on top of the box. I often try to get my arms incorporated during my box jumps, because it will help me with my momentum throwing myself up. Now, when you do it in a workout, my recommendation is always do a box jump into a step down. When you're able to do this, you're able to kind of cycle your arms, step down, get into a nice cadence where you're able to load the hips and jump up pretty effectively. It keeps your heart rate down as well, because when you do a lot of box jumps in a workout, it can get very tiring. So you've probably seen some elite CrossFitters and CrossFitters do what's called a rebound box jump, where they jump off and immediately go right into the next box jump. You're loading your hamstrings, you're loading your hips and the stretch in the muscles with all the force coming down as you land. So your body weight plus the gravity force. And if you're able to do it effectively, you can spring back up, and it's supposed to be a lot easier. It is also a lot faster to generate power, and you can get through box jumps pretty quickly doing rebounds. The reason why I don't really recommend this one is because it's really hard to execute. It takes a lot of work. It's a really big timing issue if you don't time it well. And if you just jump down, take a pause, and come back up, the energy that you've created coming down is now gone. Once that little pause, it's all it takes for it to dissipate. And then you're just doing a non-counter movement jump, which you don't have the stretch shortening cycle to help you spring back up. So you can do box jumps like that. It's the most efficient way to do it, rebounding box jumps, but it's the most difficult to execute. And if you're not really good at box jumps and you're trying to work on your height, I definitely recommend doing the box jump into a step down. You can get into a good cycling pace. You can get into a good cadence, you follow a good rhythm, you keep your heart rate down. There's just so many benefits to doing a box jump like this. Plus, it will benefit you to translate it over into, you know, burpee box jump overs, because there's a step down component to keep your heart rate down, sorry. It's also really safe on your body, because if you're not used to loading your legs, then it can be pretty dangerous. You know, there is some research to show that if you can't really back squat your body weight, you really shouldn't be doing any plyometrics. So that's why I would recommend doing the box jump step down. It's just safer, a little more efficient, keeping your heart rate down, and you're in a better position to generate more force to jump up. So I hope you enjoyed this video to give you a little bit more nuance into what goes into doing a box jump effectively and how to do it in a workout. Please consider subscribing to my channel. We're trying to grow as best I can to give you more CrossFit tips, CrossFit movement tips to help your WODs be easier. Okay, thanks. Bye.